Hey everyone, how's it going? What? Something on my face? You sure about that? I'm pretty sure I'm just doing fine here. Wait. This doesn't look right. Hold on, let me walk off set here. And okay, so that's odd. I got stuff in front of me. What's that for? Well, today we're going to go over the manual features on the G cameras. These little guys right here. So this is mainly for VC2 and the advanced class. But this is a refresher on our G cameras, and that's actually why you're seeing those settings right now, so I can talk about those settings in relation to where they are on the camera. So I'm actually going to bring up a quick image here in Adobe. Here we go. Stand by. Let me go ahead and mute that. Get that out of the way. Almost there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at where we can access certain features. So again, this is just a refresher. Oops, don't want to get stuff on my face, but let's see where you have to go to get access to stuff. So right now I'm in manual mode. You can tell that by the little, there it is, the M right there on the screen. That M means I'm in manual mode. How do you get to it? Well, there we go. Manual mode can be accessed by holding down full auto. Full auto, as you can see, is right there. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't zoom in. We might lose some of the resolution here, but there's full auto. You have to hold down full auto to get to all the manual features. Now, if I go ahead and hold it down right now, that little M icon is going to turn to an A. Watch. So see, now it's gone to full auto. And full auto is going to adjust itself to what it thinks the best thing in the shot is. Now for me right now, with how I'm sitting, it is judging that whiteboard right there as what I need to have pure white on, or what it's considering is the most lit thing in the room. So it's trying to adjust for that. That's why my face looks dark now. If I switch it back to manual, I might look still dark, but I can at least adjust it so I have more light on me. So how do I do that? And you might have heard some shocks a moment ago. I just got shocked 3 times in a row by the camera. Yay! Okay, let's take a look over at the picture. So to adjust the iris, I have to turn it from auto to manual, which is that right there, the iris AM button. I only have to press on it. Then in front of it is a wheel. That wheel allows me to open or close my iris. Let me show you. So I can tell my iris is working right now because I can actually see that F3.5 in the bottom right corner of the screen. So I can now open or close my iris for where I think is the most light I want. And sorry if my voice kind of goes in and out. The mic is pointed here where I'm at right now, not over there where I'm adjusting things. So I might fix that here in a moment. Okay, so I have my iris adjusted, but let's say I want to have a very unique look. A lot of people with DSLRs like to throw out their focus, so the subject in front is perfect focus, where the background is completely out of focus. How do you do that? First off, we have to adjust this AF/MF button right next to the full auto button. It is actually to the left. So that has to be enabled. How you know it's enabled, and if I can actually look at the screen in a moment, you'll have the MF indicator on your camera. Now, this is registering in feet. So it is saying that this is how far the subject is away. So I'm going to go get a prop. This right here will be my prop. Just a piece of cardboard, if it will stay. There we go. So this is going to be my focus point. I'm also going to use it to rearrange my shot so I know that this point right here will be perfectly in focus. So I'm going to go ahead and move the mic over. So the first thing I'm going to do here is rotate, kind of center that shot up. I'm going to zoom in on the cardboard. And then I'm going to adjust the wheel furthest from the, adjust the wheel furthest. And let me see if I can show you that. There we go. I'm going to adjust that wheel furthest from the body to adjust my focus. So let's do that now. I'm just going to go ahead and rock my focus until I find that to be as crystal clear as I want. And then I'm going to zoom out. And that should now have the background out of focus. But when I sit down, and the first thing I'm going to do is remove my prop. But as I sit down, not only am I more in focus and a little tighter of a shot, but the stuff around me looks very soft. This is called depth of field. We'll go over that more next time. Okay, what other features are there in the camera that you can adjust? Well, let's go back to Premiere. I'm using Premiere to show you the image actually. So, we've talked about full auto and how to turn it on and off. We've talked about the manual focus. We've talked about manual iris. Now right next to iris to the right are what's called gain and white balance. There we go. Right here on the camera. I know it's kind of hard to see. Don't worry about it at this point. Just knowing that they're there and how to access them matters more. So what is gain? Gain is used when you don't have enough light in a shot. Now I have enough light in the shot. Maybe I could open up my iris a little bit more, but I'd say I have enough light. If I turn up the gain, it's going to push more power into the image processor to try to get more light. This could be good in very dark light scenarios. However, in a normal lit area, it could be very bad because the more gain you push in, the grainier your picture is going to look. Example. So this is gain on medium. Already I have more light, but if you look very closely, it looks a lot more grainier. And that depth of field I have with the background looking soft is starting to get skewed. If I put it to max, this picture looks really washed out. I look washed out. All these shadows are gone. And it looks probably really grainy as you're watching this. Gain should only be used when absolutely necessary. And that is for very dark light scenarios. And even then, adjust your iris. You'll get a better picture. There we go. So as I've been doing this, I've been getting electrically shocked by not only the monitor that I'm using to test my stream, but also the camera. I have no idea what this is going on, but hopefully I do not get electrocuted. Because electrocuted means you die to electricity. That'd be bad. Okay, so more features. Let's talk white balance. I would say that my skin tone on the camera looks pretty good. It's what it should look like. But there's ways that it could look wrong. That's if you have an improper white balance. So white balance, actually, let me just go back to it again over here. Better this way. White balance is going to be located right here, where it says WHTBAL. That is the white balance. Now there is a preset feature and an A/B feature. The preset feature I assign in the camera, and technically you could assign it too. The A and the B, are features are white balance temperatures you can adjust yourself when you point the camera at a piece of white. How do you do that? Well, when you're operating the camera, there's this button right here. Let me go, right there. It's right there, actually, inside the iris wheel. So in there is a button. It's called AWB. You can barely see it. Right there in the center of it. Yep, right there. So there's a button right there. Now, if you're set to A or B on your, and again, this is all well in manual. If you go to A or B and then hit that button while looking at a piece of white, your color temperature, the look of your picture is going to change. Now, let's go take a look at what that might look like. Okay, so right now I'm set to preset. This is B. Looks a little bluer. Okay, this is B. The other one is A. Now, this looks really blue. Doesn't it? It looks really blue. It doesn't look right. And how that is, and why it doesn't look right, is because of the temperature of the color temperature of the lights. Okay, time for science. So the long and short of it is, a light source generates light that's not true white. It's either a red hue to a blue hue. And that hue is what the camera is adjusting for to make something look correct, to make the white in the background look pure white or proper white, and make your subject look have the color temperature they need. So let's see how we can adjust this manually on preset. Actually, no, correction. Let's go ahead and set the white balance while we're on this. So right now, on the side of the camera, I have my white balance set to B. Let's go ahead and try to set the white for this room. Here's how you do it. You grab yourself a piece of paper. You hold it in front of the camera. Then you hit that AWB button. And there we go. Now the camera thinks, and I would agree, this is about the proper white balance. But let's say you don't agree with it and you want to set it to a certain color temperature. Well, set it to preset. And then we're going to go to the menu feature here on the display. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to preset. And now I'm going to hit the menu feature. And I'm going to go down to, I believe it's camera process. And then I'm going to go to white balance. And in here, I can actually manually adjust the white balance. This gives you a very good example of what I've been talking about. So the lower I go, the bluer the shot's going to look. The higher I go, the warmer the shot's going to look. So 6,000 is actually what's for outside. And I can just keep on going until I get to like a radioactive state. I mean, this looks like something out of Fallout, doesn't it? I would agree. Have to move the mic. So this is the higher end of white balance. Lights normally don't get this high, but the lights that we normally work with go from anywhere from 8,000 down to 2,500. Ideally, if you're going to set your white balance manually, you're going to take a look and go through this list, actually. There we go. You can go through that list and go for what you want. Now, this is better to do in the field, especially if you're doing very unique shots, than trying to do it in post. Setting your white balance in the field to what the look you want later on will give you a better effect. And not only that, it will be easier and cleaner to add small corrections. If you're completely adjusting your white balance in Premiere, you're going to have a very hard time to get the look you want. So I want to go ahead and set this back to the white balance I think this room should be in. Going down. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it. Ooh, I did not confirm it. I got to go back and confirm that, sorry. White balance, preset, make it a little warmer. Okay, there we go. So great. I've adjusted my iris. I got it to about where I want. I still have some shadows on my face, but that's because I don't have a direct light. I would say my focus is pretty well set. I'm in focus, but the background isn't. And that's fine, because now I pop for the background. It's easier for me. There's less distractions back there. So there we go. We've covered white balance, iris, focus, gain. Now, there's another feature on the cameras that we barely use, and it's actually the opposite of gain. It's called the ND filter. Now, the ND filter is useful when you're dealing with snowy conditions or you're outside under direct sun. It's like adding sunglasses to your camera. So again, I would say the lighting here is well for me, but let's go ahead and now apply the ND filter. It is 3 stops off, 1/4 and 1/16. Okay, so this right here is 1/4, instantly darker. But if I was outside, this would be awesome. This would actually work better for outside, as direct sunlight is really, really powerful. Even cloudy sunlight. On a cloudy day, you might need this. Okay, you can barely see me, hello. But let's think about this for a moment. If I adjust my white balance to make me look blue, and I use this ND filter, wouldn't it make for a really good night shot? Think about it. So if you're going for a night shot, this with a blue tint could help give that feel to your audience. Now, how can I tell my ND filter is on by looking at my monitor? You can see right over here, the ND sign. So the ND is indicating how much I have the ND on. So right now it says ND 1/16. This shows ND 1/4. And hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and adjust the white balance right now so I look very blue. So I'm going to do this the manual way. Camera process. Come up to white balance. And I'm going to go ahead and make this as blue as I can. And I would say with the ND filter and this light, it looks like a night shot. And because I haven't adjusted my gain or anything, it looks very clean. There's no graininess to the shot. This is really great if you're trying to get that night perspective, but you can't really go out and film at night. Or if you're stuck at a day scene, in a day area, like indoors. Right now, it'd be kind of hard to tell that this is almost noon, and here I am, and it looks very, very odd. Now let's set now we're going to set the ND filter back to normal. Okay, ND filter's back to normal, but it looks washed out. And this is where I would have to reset my white balance. So let's do that again. So again, I'm doing this the manual way, or I can just flip to one of my presets, maybe A or B. Now let's go to B, where it's already pretty close to the room temperature I want for this room. And there I go. And that covers a lot of the manual features. Now there's more manual features as well. The audio ones, which, if I can go to them, there we go. The audio ones I'll cover more next time. But right now, actually, let's see if I can do this. Actually, there's no on-screen display, but we can take a look at the VU meters and that will actually work for this. So right now, I have a mic plugged into jack 1. There we go. Into jack 1. And I have my channels both set to input 1. So input 1, I got a mic plugged in, and both my channels are set to input 1. You can see this by the moving of the VU right here as they move back and forth as I talk. So I'm talking here and you see that both of them are moving. Now what happens if I only have input 1 on channel 1 and input 2, which has nothing plugged in, to channel 2? Excuse me. Okay. Well, my audio is just going to get a lot quieter here now as I only come in through one side of your headphones. And you can see on the VU meter, it's only moving on channel 1. So this is one of those things of if you're using an external mic, you want to make sure you have the proper audio settings. Normally what we ask is that, no, I'll go ahead and switch it for you. Normally what we ask is that if you're recording with an external mic, go ahead and set channels 1 and 2, both to input 1. There's also another feature called audio input. It's the center ones. And those both should always be at plus 48. This sends power out to the mic to get a better reception. Finally, the last two switches should always be set to auto. And I'm looking over on the screen, so let's actually go ahead and look at that. So it's kind of hard to tell here, but if I zoom in, and it's going to start looking really pixelated. If we zoom in here, so the first two switches are your channels, so those should be set to input 1 if you're doing something with an external mic. Audio input should always be set to plus 48, and your audio select should always be set to auto. This will give you an easier time as you do stuff with audio down the line. Now, let's say you're doing something that doesn't require an external mic, but you still might want some audio. You're going to set both channels to INT, I-N-T. That would be the internal mic. However, internal mic should not be used for recording things such as one-on-one interviews unless you're in a desperate situation, like you didn't bring a mic, and this is an only time scenario where you need to record something. Otherwise, your audio is going to sound a little odd. Okay, so this is now set to internal. You can probably hear me fairly well, but right below the camera is the TriCaster, and you can probably hear its audio a lot. You can hear the revving of the fans even more so than the directional mic I'm using right over onto my left. So this is probably not the best thing to do. However, maybe you're doing something unique. So in your ears right now, I should be coming in crystal clear on your left, and yet I should still come in a little bit odd on your right. I now have my external mic set to channel 1, and I have the internal mic set to channel 2. Why is that? I could have somebody mic'd up on channel 1 doing the interview, and then on channel 2, I'm closer to the camera asking them questions. I can hear my responses and use that while editing to figure out, maybe that's the response I want there. Maybe I'm just going to fast forward through this. Who knows? You could also use it or you could have somebody else mic'd up on inputs 1 and input 2. And then, doing all the switches, you can bring all that audio into Premiere, and then in Premiere, you can come up with something with a very cool audio mix, which I will go over in a few weeks. And that brings us to the end of the stream. really going over the manual features of our G cameras and how to use them. Let me go set something back. I keep on getting shocked by that camera. Something's not properly grounded here. Yay! So, looking at this, I hope this helps you remember how to use our cameras. And note that there are many different features and ways to get the shot you want with school gear. Now, some things to clarify. I will not be doing any streams next week. Mr. Pickard is coming out with a pamphlet next week that go on about how to keep on learning at home, and I will be basing my streams on that pamphlet after that. Hopefully, this has all been informative and useful for everyone. If you have any questions, as always, email me, as you can see right there, swagger@skschools.org. I hope this has been informative. I hope that it also has been keeping you entertained. Some things to definitely expect when we get back the week after next, because, okay, I'll actually give you guys a spring break. We're going to be going more into commercials. We're going to be definitely going into story production for VC2 in some way, and also the advanced class as a refresher. I'll be showing you quick tricks to edit. So I've shown you the basics of editing, but there are many different quick tricks to speed along your editing process. I'm going to go ahead and take a special look at some of our outstanding Wolf Trek episodes and maybe see about getting them done and showing you along the way. There's also a story that's been in limbo that I'm hopefully going to edit, and I'm going to ask for your input on how to write it. So that will be one collaborative work that we can all be a part of, is writing a story. And this story is going to be about the wrestling team from back when they went to state almost a month ago. And there's other stories that are standing out too that we could together work out, write, and potentially produce as we currently are. That way there's something out there being produced by you guys to be seen. And with all that being said, I'm glad you guys were able to watch this. Going ahead and adjusting that. Taking out the, let's take that out. Take that out. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. By the way, the thing I opened up with earlier, and we could be looking in that as well, is that is Character Animator. So Character Animator, and let me go ahead and Character Animator is a built-in, oops, wrong button. Right button. Character Animator is a built-in feature of Adobe that you can install if you have been installing Adobe lately. I'm going to go ahead and turn up my audio. 1, 2. Hopefully that sounds a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Hey! So, Character Animator allows you to take a live audio feed and overlay that to a character as such. And they can move around, they can talk. You guys have this on your phones in some fashion. But this can actually be then put into Premiere or used in some way to add a little bit more life to what you're doing. Animate character adding life, go figure. So there are plenty of things we can explore over the next few weeks. I would like you to go ahead and let me know what you would like to explore. I have full access, if you couldn't tell, to the lab. I'm one of the few people that can come in the building. So let me know what you want me to explore with what we have. Is it more stuff with camera work? Is it stuff with lighting? Audio work? More stuff with editing? Any of the technical stuff I'm willing to help you with. So please keep that in mind as we go ahead. So again, I will not be doing any streams next week, but I will be back. What day would that be? April 6th with more streams. And most of those will be based off the pamphlet Mr. Pickard will be sending out to you guys here soon via either Google Classroom or other methods. And I would expect many pamphlets coming out here soon from many of your teachers. Please don't feel swamped. We're all trying to get through this together. And I think with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. If I remember what button to press. See, I have this little, I have right down here this board that should be doing a lot of this stuff, but it's not working properly, so I'm having to use the mouse. That's not what I want to use, but hey, I'll live with it. Anyways, it's been fun. I will see you guys in about a week. Try to find something to entertain yourself. By the way, make sure to follow me on Twitter, SKTV_205. I'm currently trying to arrange a Super Smash Bros. Tournament that can all be done from home. And that way, hey, we can figure something out to keep people entertained. And maybe it will be the spring sport this year. Who knows? See you next time.